After making not one, not two, not three, but 4 new signings in the summer transfer window, we find ourselves in 5th place in the league. And with a shed load of games to get through in today's episode, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Now, I mentioned Onuachu in the intro, and I was hoping he could pick off from where he left off last season and continue that rich vein of form. And judging by 2 goals in the opening 2 Premier League games, it looks as though he is doing just that. And with the arrival of new signing Armando Broja also getting 1 goal in 2 Premier League games for him, I'm hoping that the two of them can spur each other on to continue that goal-scoring form. And one man I do have incredibly high hopes for this season is this man, Kalmadine Sulemana, already gone up to 79 rated and already scoring 2 goals in his opening 3 Premier League appearances. With a 7.23 rating, he has been fantastic in his first 3 games, and long may it continue. Now, with only 4 players in the academy with a potential rating within the mid-80s, I've got to be honest, I don't really think I gave enough love to my youth academy last season. Now, of course, I've set up scouting networks across the likes of Wales, England and Scotland, but the biggest difference this year is that I'm only setting them up for 3 months apiece. We'll obviously see whether or not we can scout out the best young talent across the UK, but if that doesn't work, I do have the option to look further afield and perhaps look a little bit further around Europe. But for now, it's on to the important stuff, and we are going to be kicking off our first game of this episode away from home against Watford. Trufer into James Ward-Prowse, gets his first touch of the game, and he gives it to Lavia, who I've been very impressed with so far, but just as I say that, he goes and gives the ball away. Tries his best to go and win it back, and he does win it back, and he wins it back in a really good position. Olsen into Onuachu, he takes it down really nicely, gives it back to Olsen, the man who's in for Jeremy Doku. Can he play it across? He can, but it goes straight into the path of the defender, and that was a huge opportunity for us to go 1-0 up here as Watford try and strike a lightning counter-attack. It's Carlos Fidesz who picks it up into Kalu. Kalu just twisting and turning, looks for Thomas on the left-hand side. Bella Kotchap again, full of confidence with a great challenge, and we escape with the ball. End-to-end stuff here inside the opening 10 minutes as we give the ball away, and Watford can go again. Trufer into James Ward-Prowse. Nice play into Onuachu, who's come deep to collect the ball. He's got an option of Skov Olsen out wide on the right-hand side. Olsen tries to put it onto his left. Good defending. Watford escape again. We're knocking on the door, but we can't quite seem to knock it down. Lavia tries to come across to put a challenge in. Not good enough, and Watford again can spring away here. It's Carlos Fidesz. Looks for Kone ahead of him. Kone unmarked. Tries to dink a ball over the top to the right-hand side to Jatta. Nice play. He plays a ball in, and it's easy in the end for Bazunu. Onuachu coming deep again for the 2nd and 3rd time in this game, really trying to get himself involved. Skov Olsen again is another man who's been involved several times, but can't quite find the key pass to unlock this stubborn Watford defence. Trufer, though, will be out wide. He's going to try and whip a ball in. It's a good ball in, looking for the head of Onuachu, and he just can't get there ahead of the defender, looking for his 3rd goal this season. Trufer with a throw into the feet of James Ward-Prowse. Took his time to take it down, but takes it down well. Trufer has it again. Whips a much better ball, this time into the box, looking for Skov Olsen. Can't get there. Fernandez into Kiembe. Asprilla has it for Watford. What a save. What a fantastic save for Bazunu to keep the scores level at 0-0. My word, he came to the rescue there. But Watford win the ball high up the pitch, and they still keep going. It's Kalu out wide on the left-hand side. Lovely turn to get away from the defender. Keeps creeping into the box. No one putting a challenge in. It's Thomas who picks it up again. Kiembe has it. Asprilla strikes, and Bazunu is equal to it yet again. Comes to our rescue just before half-time. Asprilla for Watford to bring it forward. He's blocked off by Lavia. Good challenge. James Ward-Prowse picks it up. Sulemana has been pretty quiet so far. Lovely turn from Onuachu. Feeds in Timber. Timber's through here. What a save from the goalkeeper. It should be 1-0. James Ward-Prowse is going to look for a better ball into the box this time, and it's into the head of Sulemana, who heads it down. It's blocked off by the defender, but we are getting closer. Lavia wins the ball high, but it looks as though it's going to be a Watford free kick. Trufer into Sulemana. Sulemana just trying to be a little bit more involved in this second half, and he's done some really nice work there. Timber into Onuachu. Onuachu onto Skov Olsen. Olsen to try and play it across. It's too soft, and Watford get it clear again. Carl Walker-Peters on as a substitute. Lavia picks it up in the centre of the park and gives it to Trufer out wide on the left-hand side. Sulemana, again, who's been far more involved so far in this second half, picks it up, strikes well, and it's another big save from the goalkeeper. We are getting closer, though. There is no doubt about that, as James Ward-Prowse is going to whip a ball in, looking for the head of Doku. Doku heads it down. It's easy for the goalkeeper in the end, though. Thomas has it for Watford. Looks for Kalu on the left-hand side. Lovely challenge from Bella Kotchap. That is exactly what I want from my defender. And it's Broja who's come short. Looks for Gineppo. Lovely run from Gineppo. Has he taken too heavy a touch? Oh, he's put it wide. James Ward-Prowse, we have been all over Watford, especially in this second half here, as it's a lovely ball into James Ward-Prowse. And it's blocked off again by the defender. Watford are hanging on by a thread here. Trufer into James Ward-Prowse. The pressure mounts here on Watford. Gineppo picks it up on the left-hand side, looking for a space to try and whip a ball in. He does whip a good ball in. It's into Brozier, who takes it down. Why didn't he just hit it? I don't know why. It's blocked off. But again, Gineppo's got a second opportunity to try and throw the ball back in. This time he does. Looking for Duku, but it's Lavia who picks it up. It's James Ward-Prowse again. Looks for Lavia. Lavia to strike, looking for his first goal in a Southampton shirt. And it's blocked off as the referee blows the whistle. And that is a big 3 points that goes begging. We were all over Watford in that second half. We had so many good chances, but we just couldn't take them. And so frustratingly, in the end, it finishes Watford 0, Southampton 0. And our frustrations go from bad to worse as Luis Diaz snatches a late winner in the 89th minute for Liverpool to give them a 2-1 win at St Mary's. I tell you what though, a Carabao Cup run might well be our best avenue for success, as we managed to get right back on track with the 3-2 win at home to Blackburn Rovers, courtesy of goals from Skov Olsen, Brozier and James Ward-Prowse late on. However, we are still waiting for our first win in the Premier League this episode. A goal from Salazar in the 73rd minute was not enough to mount a comeback. Dominic Calvert-Lewin put an end to it in the 80th, and we end up losing to Everton 3-1. And as we round off the month of September, we still cannot buy a win in the Premier League. A late goal from Skov Olsen is enough to rescue a point at home to Burnley, but it's not the 3 points we so desperately crave. And speaking of Skov Olsen, it's actually quite an interesting one, because 3 goals in 5 games in all competitions is actually a pretty decent return for the young Dane, and with a +2 rating now getting him up to 80 overall, he's actually been doing pretty well so far this season. But the bigger concern is this man Jeremy Doku. 5 Premier League games, yet to score, only a 6.76 rating overall. His form seems to have just dropped off a cliff so far this season, and it seems like the transfer of Skov Olsen has actually been more of a hindrance to him than a help. And it also seems our good form at the start of the season has also fallen off a cliff as well. 12th place in the league, exactly where we finished off last season. And with our 4 new summer signings, I really did expect us to be higher up the table. But with only 4 points separating us and Manchester United in the final Europa League spot, I've got high hopes that we can definitely climb the ladder once again. And with Spurs up next at the St Mary's Stadium, we have the opportunity to try and avenge what was a catastrophic result against them last season when we got battered 5-0, which secured them the Premier League title. Salazar gives it to Yilmaz out wide on the left-hand side, and Yilmaz goes and gives it straight away to Riyad Mahrez, who clearly made the transfer from City to Spurs, and Spurs are starting off with electric pace here as Emerson Royale tries to get away from Yilmaz. Doesn't quite do it though. Højbjerg picks it up. Spurs picking up exactly where they left off last time they played us. And again, it's lovely play. Emerson Royale with the first strike of the game. We've got to have our wits about us as Spurs look on fire today. Skov Olsen on the right-hand side, in for Jeremy Doku. Finds Onuachu. Onuachu takes a lovely touch and strike. And it's a great save by Costa. Riyad Mahrez for Spurs. Into Højbjerg in the centre of the park. It's Bentancur, his midfield partner, who's picked it up. Gives it back to Mahrez. Once again, this is good play from Spurs. Lovely stuff between Son and Mahrez. Into Kane. And Kane has done something unbelievable. And he's missed from point-blank range. The crowd can't believe it. Look at this. He's blazed it over the bar when I was sure it was going to be 1-0. That is a let-off. Bentancur again. Spurs definitely looking the most likely to score here early doors in this first half. And it's Harry Kane trying to run onto a through ball from Mahrez into Heung-min Son. And Heung-min Son does not make the same mistake that Harry Kane did earlier on. He puts Spurs 1-0 up here after a devastating counter-attack to give them a deserved lead. Harry Kane has dropped deep, as he always does in real life for Spurs. Picks it up and gives it to Son. Son has got space to drive into here. Lavia is going to try and make up the space, but he doesn't do it. And Perisic has loads of space on the left-hand side. He's going to try and look for a ball in. Lovely's touch to get away from the former Spurs man in Carl Walker-Peters. Kane using some fancy footwork, but this time it was Bela Kocic who came across with a good piece of defending, and we can just about get it clear, but we can't as Perisic wins it high. Spurs relentless here in the opening half as Riyad Mahrez strikes, and Bazunu forced into a great save. It's Harry Kane again for Spurs here. They're looking for a second before the stroke of half-time. It's Bentancur in a really nice pocket of space. He finds Heung-min Son. Son strikes from distance. Bazunu saves. The referee, much to my delight, blows for half-time. Ridvan Yilmaz looks for Onuachu. Nice play into him. Lovely play. It's Kalmadine Sulemana to try and drive into the box. He finds Ridvan Yilmaz. We're just held up by the Spurs defence, but it's James Ward-Prowse who smashes it past the goalkeeper to level the scores here at St Mary's. What a fantastic way to start this second half. Well, it was Onuachu who came deep. Bit of a mix-up between Sulemana and Ridvan Yilmaz, but eventually we managed to find James Ward-Prowse, who managed to power it past the goalkeeper and smash it into the top right-hand corner to give us a much-needed 1-1 score. Harry Kane picks up the ball in a deep position. Spurs looking to strike back pretty quickly, but it's a great interception and challenge from Timber. Onuachu tries to find Sulemana. He does. He gets there ahead of Tanganga. Sulemana drops it back into Timber, who strikes, and just like that, within a blink of an eye, we are 2-1 up here at St Mary's. Well, after getting completely battered in the first half, within a blink of an eye, we have turned the game on its head in the second half. Wonderful play from Sulemana to latch onto a through ball and unselfishly just gave it to Timber, and Timber absolutely leathered it past the goalkeeper just like James Ward-Prowse did earlier on. Carl Walker-Peters looks for Yilmaz out wide on the left hand side, and with Spurs trying desperately to find an equaliser, they are leaving gaps in their defence, and Sulemana is only too keen to try and utilise that, and that is a bit of a wayward cross, not the cross I was looking for, and Spurs get away with one there. Lavia picks it up in the centre now. This is a much better second half than the first. Carl Walker-Peters into Skov Olsen. He switches it onto his left. Hasn't really got too many options, so he looks for Lavia. Lavia goes out wide to Sulemana on the left-hand side. He tries to whip a good ball in, looking for the head of Onuachu, but it was good, calm defending to nod it back to the goalkeeper. Bentancur for Spurs skips away from the challenge of Timber, and now Heung-min Son has space to run into. It's Harry Kane. He's going to look for the run of Perisic, but instead finds Emerson Royale on the right-hand side. Kane gets it back, and Salazu is there, and that is quite possibly the most important interception he's made all episode. Bentancur for Spurs. They've got just under 5 minutes remaining to try and find an equaliser. It's Mahrez here into Heung-min Son. Mahrez gets it back from him. Spurs have got a man over on the left-hand side, and they do find him, but Bella Kotchup this time is there, and that is brilliant defending, and it is now our turn to try and strike a counter-attack here as Skov Olsen tries to play a ball over to Sulemana, but he's blocked off by the defender. Spurs win it back, but Sulemana almost. I thought I was just about to win that from Tanganga. Spurs get it away, but it does not matter because the referee has blown the whistle here at St Mary's. The fans are ecstatic. A fine second half performance from us. A fine second half performance from this man, Quinton Timber, pulling the strings in the heart of my midfield. His goal was the winner, and we seal a much needed 2-1 win here against Spurs. And I'm really hoping with Timber scoring his first goal of the season, that is really going to be a shot in the arm for the rest of the team. But unfortunately, it isn't. Dooku getting his first goal of the season, which is much needed, and Onuachu scoring a goal in the 64th minute. But those two goals not enough, and we're brought back down to earth with a 2-2 draw against Leicester. And to make matters worse, our Carabao Cup run is brought to a crashing end courtesy of a hat-trick from Emil Smith-Rowe. Another goal from Skov Olsen is good news, but it's not good enough. A 3-1 loss, and we are out of the Carabao Cup. Finally though, there is some good news as Onuachu just cannot stop scoring. Another 2 goals from him means it is finally 3 points in a sim game for us. A 2-1 win against West Ham and a much needed 3 points in the bag. Now on to some transfer news, and Joe Aribo has barely featured for the club since the arrival of Quinton Timber last season, and with an £11 million offer from Lille, he is desperate to leave the club. So having accepted that offer, he will be leaving in January, and it means with the board desperate for me to sign a crucial player in midfield, and with only £34 million left in my transfer budget, it means I'm going to have to be very clever with my recruitment in January. So let me know down in the comments below, who would you like me to bring into central midfield to replace this man when he leaves the club in Jan. Another 2 goals from Onuachu though in the Premier League are still not enough as we succumb to a 3-2 loss against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and it's even more frustration as a 75th minute goal from Guedes gives Wolves a 1-0 win at St Mary's. And as you can see, those results keep us firmly in mid-table, 10th place in the league with only 15 points to our name, and it's no surprise to see the team spirit at the club is slumping. However, one good thing to note is this man's quality performances so far this season. Last season, this man carried the club on his back with 20 Premier League goals, and it looks like in season 2 there is no changing. 7 goals in 11 Premier League games. He has been unbelievable so far this season, but the biggest concern really is the next closest player in terms of Premier League goals is James Ward-Prowse with only 2 to his name. We really need to find a way to try and get some goals, and I'm hoping with our last game of this episode against Brighton away from home, we can do just that. Sarmiento down the right hand side for Brighton. It's been a positive start for them so far as Buonanotte drives into space. Where on earth my defence are, nobody seems to know. Buonanotte keeps the ball. Bella Kotchup tried to put in a strong challenge, but it's Pascal Gross who picks it up once again. Estupinian on the left-hand side. Gross has it back. This is a really positive start from Brighton. Buonanotte tries to smash it against my defender and does just that. It's Gross who now tries to bring it forward. Estupinian still has it for Brighton. They just cannot seem to lose the ball. Salazar picks it up and gets caught up again by Estupinian. It's in there this time. It's Timber who wins it really nicely, and he can try and stretch his legs and get away. James Ward-Prowse now to try and bring the ball clear. He looks for Suleimana on the left-hand side. He surely has the pace, but he's up against Lamptey. It's going to be a foot race here, and Suleimana just about manages to trickle past him. Suleimana still going, smashes it onto his right, and blazes it high and wide. Truffert into James Ward-Prowse. Lovely one-touch play into Suleimana. Now he has space and the pace to drive into it. Suleimana continues his run. I'm going to look for Onuachu instead. I find, who was it? It was Diallo I found. And it just wasn't good enough. Kochub to bring this one forward. This is a much better period of play for us. James Ward-Prowse into Diallo. Tried to find the ball to James Ward-Prowse, and it just wasn't on. Diallo, though, picks it up this time for Brighton. Salazar with a good challenge. Suleimana has it. End-to-end stuff here at the Amex Stadium. Truffert finds himself in field, looking for the ball through. Wonderful interception from Veltman. Sarmiento for Brighton on the right-hand side. Nice ball into Diallo, their striker, and he's taking it away from Kochub with ease. Drives into the box, strikes. Big save from Bazunu. James Ward-Prowse again in the centre of the park, trying to pull the strings, finds Diallo. Diallo tried to play it into Onuachu. If he was going to be able to make that pass, he would have been in there. But it's now Diallo who's in for Brighton as he tries to worm his way past Kochub. Salazar comes across, can't get there first. Diallo does get there, and Diallo smashes the ball past Bazunu. Brighton completely opening my defence up and giving themselves a 1-0 lead at the Amex Stadium. Truffert going to try and play an ambitious ball right the way over, and that is sensational. Kyle Walker-Peters to pick it up, whips it in, looking for Onuachu. He went for his second bicycle kick of the season, and unfortunately for him, this one just didn't come off. James Ward-Prowse picks it up again in midfield. This has been a good response from us. It's into Dooku. Dooku strikes, first time straight at the goalkeeper. And with us in desperate need to try and get a goal, you can see I've switched formation for the second time this season. 3 at the back, 5 in midfield. Brozier comes on up front to partner Onuachu. Surely we've got to try and find some goals from somewhere. Suleimana with the throw into Timber. Timber goes across to Diallo. Diallo looks for Dooku out wide on the right-hand side. He goes back in looking for Diallo, the central defensive midfielder. Tries to strike. Blocked off. Brighton get it clear. Diallo again for Brighton. It's 2-on-2 here as Buonanotte brings it forward. They've got a man out wide on the right-hand side and Sarmiento, and they find him. Sarmiento comes inside. Diallo! And just like that, Brighton open us up again. And this time, it's 2-0. Things are going from bad to worse here. Diallo to bring it forward. There can be no complaints about us not bringing enough players forward. And that is Dooku into the box. Looks for Onuachu. And it's off the post. And this time, he does get the rebound. And can he pick the ball up? Why is he running into the net? What are you doing, man? Pick the ball up. We are back in this game. Gross to bring it forward. Buonanotte now. Brighton are sensing they need to get a goal to kill this game off. And they are looking for it in Diallo. Lovely little flick back. But Dooku read that one well. Diallo now for us can try and bring the ball forward. Lovely play from him. James Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse can release Onuachu. Has he got the pace to try and get away from the Brighton defenders? He drives into the box. Onuachu takes too heavy a touch and Sanchez comes out and makes a great save. Timber to try and bring it forward. He's just crowded out as Brighton desperately in hunt, in search for a third. Diallo, he could have had the opportunity and should have put it to bed. He didn't take it, and now St. Juice brings it forward. My word, this is end-to-end stuff here. It's Onuachu. Onuachu looks for Suleimana on the left-hand side. This man will have the pace to get away from the defender. Instead, checks in for Onuachu. I need that man in the box. He whips a good ball in looking for Brozier. Can't find his head. It's headed away by the Brighton players, and that is that. It is another 3 points dropped. We gave it everything we could in the last 25 minutes, but it just wasn't enough. The Brighton players celebrate. They know how much of a big victory that was. And game over. It's 2-1 Brighton. Well, with us now being 11th in the table and 6 points behind Arsenal in 5th place, we are in desperate need of a miracle to try and climb up this Premier League table. And that is where I need your help. Goals are missing from this team. This is my formation. I just don't think it's working for us anymore. Let me know down in the comments below. How can I get some more goals into this team? Is it new players? Is it a new formation? Let me know what you think. And hopefully I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.